Well, the world's biggest social media platform has turned 20 years old. As a Harvard sophomore, Mark Zuckerberg first released a program called The Facebook. In February of 2004, that program would then launch a company that would capture more than 3 billion users, hit a value of $1 trillion, and make so much cash that it's now kicking back dividends to shareholders. So Stephen Levy joins me now to talk about Facebook's evolution. He's the editor-at-large at Wired and the author of Facebook, The Inside Story. Great to have you here. When I was thinking about this 20th birthday celebration, if you will, I thought about all the ways that Facebook has kind of changed our lives. My life in particular helped me connect with people over sort of space and time, relatives I didn't know I had, but also that anxiety level of FOMO that we never had before when we didn't know what people were doing every single day of their best life. Can you talk a little bit about how Facebook has changed our lives?
Sure. It really is amazing. And I think what made Facebook and what Mark Zuckerberg understood, or maybe, stumbled on to some degree, was just that, how much this social networking can get into people's lives and change it. And he had the advantage of launching it in a very bound community, just the Harvard world. And when it just first started, it was just for people at Harvard. If you didn't have a Harvard edu domain, you couldn't get into it. And in college, you know how close you are to people. You want to know everything what's happening in your social circles. And he was able to export that closeness and that sense of community to the larger world. 2 years after he launched it, 20 years ago yesterday, he released it to the world and was able to create those communities, which creates a network effect that has literally, as you said, billions of people, almost half the earth, on Facebook and its other platforms. So it really is amazing how much it has to do with us in a positive sense. And of course, what he didn't anticipate, and what some criticize him for not getting on sooner, is the negative effects, the misinformation, the FOMO, as you say, to the point where teenage girls, according to Facebook's own studies, Meta is called now, so that a significant percentage are more prone to mental health issues as they use the platform.
Yeah, I heard a really interesting phrase called the economy of likes, which is something that didn't exist before, and what we do to get those likes. But it occurred to me that with every kind of new iteration of Facebook, every tweak, there was pushback. People were outraged. Apparently, people were outraged when the news feed started. They thought it was intrusive and sort of infringed on their privacy. But then we all sort of simmer down and just go with whatever Zuck wants. What is it about Facebook that allows it to sort of weather these controversies, no matter how serious they may be?
Well, there came a point, and you could really pinpoint the exact day it happened, that, as you say, Facebook, as it was called then, just skated by on, even though the FTC slapped them with a big privacy violation, and even back in the early days, as you point out, the news feed, people were picketing their offices in Palo Alto, California, but they skated by and managed to avoid really tough scrutiny until the election of Donald Trump in 2016, when people looked back and said, wait a minute, what about all this misinformation there? Did Facebook help elect Donald Trump? And from then, people started taking a much closer look, and it did come across much more scrutiny. But it is very much a split-screen company. And on one hand, it has all this damage to its reputation. And, even as of last week, Mark Zuckerberg had to go and testify in Congress. But on the other hand, it delivers fantastic financial results. So about a year ago, they had a dip in advertising. Apple was doing something that made them less able to exploit the information they had on people, but they got past that. And now the company's doing better than ever. It's over $1 trillion. And as you know, for the first time, it's kicking back a dividend. By the way, Mark Zuckerberg, because he owns so much stock, that dividend is going to give him $700 million in the next year.
Wow. Really quickly, where does the company go from here? What's next?
Well, is changed its name to Meta to reflect Mark Zuckerberg's obsession with taking it to the next generation of computers, which he thinks is going to be the metaverse. Apple, in a way, endorsed that vision by releasing its product to do that. And now he's into artificial intelligence, which is certainly the flavor of the year in technology, and he wants to get into that game.
Stephen, I feel like we could talk for an hour about the impact of Facebook. You wrote a great book about it. Stephen Levy, thank you so much.
Thank you.